When Rome fell, the Chinese empires continued. When the Mayan cities emptied into the lowlands, the rest of the human story kept going. Civilizational collapse was catastrophic for the people living through it, but it never threatened the entire human project. We always had a geographic and technological buffer, a margin of safety. Today, we no longer have that margin. We deploy technologies faster than we can understand their consequences. Nuclear arsenals hold the capacity to end civilization in an afternoon. Synthetic biology can release engineered pathogens we cannot contain. And we are building artificial intelligence with objectives we don't fully understand. For the first time in our history as a species, our own tools possess the power to render the planet uninhabitable at exactly the same time. We generate this crisis through billions of daily choices, all shaped by a particular way of seeing the world. Those choices are shaped by extractive consciousness. We experience ourselves as isolated entities, separate from the natural systems we depend on. Because we perceive ourselves as separate from the air we breathe and the soil that grows our food, we optimize for narrow, short-term benefits. We take what we need and treat the resulting damage as someone else's problem. The institutions and algorithms we build on the outside mirror the fragmented mindset we carry on the inside. A civilization that divides reality into isolated parts will naturally design machines and systems that optimize those parts, even at the expense of the whole. The interaction of these simultaneous threats compresses our timeline. Our current institutions were built for a slower world, where harm was local and could be cleaned up after the fact. They are not designed for this level of compound risk. To understand why, we have to look at a game theory mechanic called the multipolar trap, often illustrated by the classic tragedy of the commons. This diagram shows a shared resource pool connected to individual nodes. When one takes extra, that node grows larger while the pool dims. To avoid falling behind, every other actor mimics this behavior. They extract at once, and the central pool completely collapses. Even when the collapse is visible to everyone involved, the system continues to reward the precise behavior that guarantees collective destruction. We see this same trap in global climate negotiations. Any nation can break ranks to secure a short-term economic edge, forcing others to follow suit or accept an immediate disadvantage. The same structural pattern drives the international race for artificial intelligence and the way corporations offload environmental costs to stay competitive. Treating these problems individually is ineffective as long as the underlying structural generator remains untouched. This diagram maps 4 structural root dynamics beneath the surface. First, misaligned incentives, where rewards oppose collective well-being. Second, externalized costs, where decision-makers escape consequences. Third, information asymmetries, where unequal knowledge becomes power. Finally, narrow optimization, where maximizing a single metric silently degrades everything else. By identifying this finite set of root dynamics, we move from the impossible task of fixing every surface symptom to the specific challenge of changing the underlying patterns. Like a raindrop on a ridge, civilizations under extreme stress are pulled toward 3 distinct valleys. First is cascading failure, fracturing as collective action collapses. Second is concentrated control, forcing coordination but losing freedom. Third is regenerative cooperation, aligning individual and collective well-being. This third valley is currently the weakest pull. It cannot be reached by accident. It requires building systems that channel human nature toward life rather than control or collapse. Global collapse is not a certainty, and technology itself is not the enemy. However, a regenerative civilization cannot be built from the same consciousness that produced the extractive one. The transformation has to reach deeper than policy. It has to reach the worldview from which our policies grow. Because these crises share common roots, targeting this finite set of patterns gives us a lever to shift many outcomes at once. This root-level work is what makes a different trajectory possible.